Good morning, everyone, and happy Friday. Hope you're all doing well. My name is Howard Pinsky, Senior XD Evangelist at Adobe. I've got my tea with me. Hopefully Andy is impressed today. I didn't make it myself, but I've got it. Hope you're all doing well. If you are joining me live on this beautiful Friday, let me know who you are, where you're tuning in from. Hopefully it's not snowing like it was yesterday. It was snowing in Los Angeles yesterday. It was crazy. Big good morning to, we got Ryan and Daniel and Larry and Nathaniel and Zachary and Bohana and Kita. Apologies if I mispronounce anyone's name. I've got the tea this morning. So, it's going to be a good day. Let me hop over to my screen for a second so I can just jump right into this. Here we go. So here is the XD Daily Creative Challenge, behance.net/Daily Creative Challenge. Pretty simple, right? We've been doing this for a while. We've done a few sets of these, and this is one of those sets that we're just kind of continuing on going. We're doing things a little bit differently this time, as you probably have guessed. In the past, what we've done is we have given you a new challenge every single day that's usually completely different from the previous challenge, but this time we're kind of having some fun. We're testing something out, and we'd love to hear your feedback. So let us know in Slack or in chat what you think of this style. Whether we should do it again, whether we should go back to what we were doing before. But essentially, if you haven't caught on yet, we're kind of creating one thing for 2 weeks. And in this case, we're creating a music player app for a mobile device. We started on Tuesday with a design system. We went to low fidelity, went to user flows, and today we're going to go over some sharing. We're going to keep it kind of chill today. We're not going to do too much craziness because it's the weekend coming up. We know a lot of you want to go out and do some stuff on the weekend. Maybe you're going to even tweak and revisit some of the previous challenges. Who knows? So here is, and hey, Michael Crabtree is in the house. Hey, Anzi and Dennis and everyone else, Natasha, who is just joining us. So if you haven't hit that big blue button at the top yet, hit the big blue button so you know when we release new challenges every single day at 8:30, except the weekends. I will not be here on the weekends. You can come here. I will not be here. So hit that button. Each day you're going to receive a challenge. You are going to join me at 8:30 in the morning every single day. Again, not weekends. And you're going to use Adobe XD to create and prototype whatever that challenge is. And today, again, very chill. We're just going to be learning how to share, get feedback, maybe post on Behance. We'll see what happens. And then you have until March 1st to complete everything. But as I've mentioned in the past, this isn't a competition. There's no prizes. The only prize is a better designer, right? So if you need a few extra days to polish up your designs, get familiar with the application, learn new skills, take a few extra days. Don't worry too much about it, right? Grab XD for free. Can't beat that, right? And then join us on Slack. Now, we've had a few issues with the Slack button because of caching stuff here and there. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. If it doesn't, definitely let us know in the chat. We'll post an updated link. Let me know on Twitter. I'll send a link out there. Usually it does work. So hit that button, join us in Slack. And if I hop over to Slack, here's our Slack channel. It is popping. We've got almost 14,000 people. I expect 14,000 people by Monday, or I'm not coming back. We've got an introduction section where you can tell us all about yourself, what you do for a living, what inspires you. Feedback section is always fun. And if you're posting in the feedback section, you want feedback for your work, let us know exactly what kind of feedback you're looking for. Do you want feedback on the colors, the user flow, the character styles? And then once you get feedback, give feedback. So pay it forward. Go find, Anzi's looking for feedback. Jump in there, give her some feedback on her designs. Andy's in there, and we've got some great mentors, including Zach, Chris, and Peter, who are in there as well. And then at 12 o'clock noon today, in just a few hours, in 4 hours, 3.5, something like that, Talon is going to be live designing in XD, but also reviewing some of your challenges. So make sure to get that stuff in there and use the hashtag XD Daily Challenge. And yeah, Michael, I'm going to go on strike if Slack doesn't hit 14,000. So you all better get in there. So today's challenge, if my mouse wheel wants to scroll, it doesn't want to scroll. What is going on? I broke Behance. Let me refresh this. This is the joys of live streaming. Things break. There we go. Woo. All right, so your challenge today is to share and review. pretty chill, pretty simple. And we're going to upload on Behance. We're going to upload to for review, for development. I'm going to show you all the things. It's going to be fun and very chill. But before we do that, I want to quickly go over a few of the entries that have come in over the last few days. Again, make sure to use that hashtag XD Daily Challenge so we can find your stuff. And this one is from Daniel, and he expanded on his challenge that I showed a few days ago. Here's his design system at the top, really nicely laid out. I love this at the top. It just looks really nice. And then he's got some lo-fi wireframes here, very in-depth, going through some of the different screens. And then down here, this just exploded my mind. This user flow definitely is a lot more in-depth than the one I'd created yesterday. But you can definitely tell that Daniel put some thought into what goes on in a user flow of a mobile app for music playing. So there's some cool stuff in here. I'm really excited to see how this ends up. And he even embedded a prototype, which I'm going to show you how to do. But if I click on this, I can show you that the prototype does work. And you can click to see hotspot links. You can sign up if you want to. Confirm. Now I will, oh look, drag is working. I was about to say drag does not work on XD on embedded prototypes yet, but it looks like the team may have slipped that in there. I think we're discovering new things as we go. That's fancy. So drag works now. Magical. All right, so that was cool. This is from Prudvi. Apologies if I mispronounce your name. He or she put together this cool thing at the top, which I'm going to show you how to do today in XD. Kind of cool. So this I found this nice. And then May put together this one. Again, really cool. And make sure to search the hashtag. And, check out some of this stuff. Appreciate it on Behance. Give feedback in Slack. This one over here is from Heather, one of our regulars in Slack and sometimes in chat as well. Really nice gradients. I'm really interested to see how this turns out when we get to the hi-fi stuff. Icons, UI elements, inputs, controls, buttons, all that fun stuff. Play beats. Nice. Alrighty. And then we've got HashPal. Also really cool. I found this really neat. These little brush strokes to showcase the colors. I thought that was cool. It does, sometimes it's a little bit difficult because it's not a solid color, but I still find it kind of neat. And there's some cool elements and buttons going down the page. And then a nice little user flow. Cool. Next, we've got Jonathan. And make sure to stick around for Talon Stream because he's going to be looking at some of this stuff more in depth than I am. Really nice. Some icons, some buttons, some components, all laid out really nicely on Behance. And I'm kind of digging the whole dark UI style. Cool. And then Gladstone, also one of our regulars who might be here in the chat this morning. May not be. I haven't seen him yet. There's a link for Slack. Thank you, GusBot. Awesome. And then, that's May again. And then we've got Anzi, who was just in Slack, and I believe she's here in chat as well. She came up with this really nice user flow of all the different screens that you can fall onto. I thought that was really cool. So, let me hop over to Adobe XD. Bam, here we go. So here's what we kind of worked on yesterday. I did make a few small tweaks, but nothing major. And what I want to do is show you how you can start sharing this stuff on, Adobe XD and also on Behance. So there's a few things that we want to tackle. The first thing is, whenever you're sharing a project for a review, you want to make sure to mark your home screen. So this is going to be the home screen. So I'm going to go into prototype mode. I want to make sure that this little home button is turned on. If it's not turned on, let's say for whatever reason that this artboard here it's locked, but let me unlock it. Oh, it's not an artboard. But let's say this artboard was the home screen. When I go to publish this, then XD is going to assume that that's the artboard you want to start with, and it's going to look for anything wired up to that artboard. And because nothing is wired up to that artboard, it's basically just going to show that artboard, right? So what we're going to do, we're going to make sure to click on the first artboard in the sequence and press the little home button, boop, right there. There's your boops for the day. So now that that is done, XD knows when we publish it that this artboard is part of it, and this artboard, and all these little artboards with all these wires exploding out of it are part of this sequence, right? So once that's done, we want to start by publishing for review. So I'm going to go up to the top. I'm going to hit the share button right up here. There it is, right there. I'm going to go to share for review. We'll get to share for development a little bit later on if we have time. So I'm going to press that. And we have a bunch of different options. If you want to keep it public, if you want to go private, password protected, whatever you want, options are available to you. So I'm going to do anyone with a link. So basically, if I send this link out to anybody, they will be able to view it. And I'm going to go ahead and name it. Let's name this music, play, user flow. I do want to allow comments because I want people to give me feedback. I'm not going to worry about opening in full screen because it's a fairly small prototype. I do want to show hotspot hints, so and I'll show you what that means in a minute, but if people don't know exactly where to click, they can click on a blank area and it'll kind of guide them. I don't want to worry too much about passwords, and I'm going to create the link. And here we go. So it's basically uploading all this stuff to the magical Creative Cloud, and in a second, I'm going to have a few different options. So right up here, I have 3 options. One, I can copy the embed code, and that's going to be very important once we get to the Behance phase. I can copy the link, or I can open it directly in the browser. So let's go ahead and open it in a browser. Here we go. And it's going to be loaded in. And because Auto Animate is now available on the web, a lot more is being loaded in, a lot of layers and a lot of interactions and things like that. And here's where you can interact with your prototypes, send this link out to your clients, your friends, whoever it might be, and they can click through and actually see this thing in action. So if I click on an empty area, that's the hotspot hint right there. So I can just click on login. It's going to take me to this screen. I can log in here. And now that drag is working on the web, which it wasn't not too long ago, I'm going to have to ask the team when they enabled that. I can just drag this back and forth. I can click, navigate to different areas, go back home, search. There's the keyword that comes up at the bottom. I can go back, and so on and so forth. So I can click through the entire thing. Hey, Helmut, welcome. And Adam, welcome everyone who is just joining. So there's your prototype on the web. And the cool thing about this is people can just jump in and add some comments. So let's say, for example, we're on the home screen, drag over, you get to this screen here, right? And your client or whoever might be wants to let you know that these buttons over here, if you look very closely, they're cut off a little bit. So they can just grab a pin, drag this right over here, and then type in dots are cut off, and then submit. And then assuming that I did not make this comment, I'm going to get a notification on my Creative Cloud app letting me know that a comment has been made. I can jump into XD, make those changes. So let me do that right now. I'm going to jump into XD, find those little dots that were cut off. There they are. And just move them over. Perfect. And once that's done, assuming I make a lot more changes, I'm probably not going to push a change just for 3 little dots, but I can just update the link, and then that's going to update it on the Creative Cloud. So then when my client goes back to view it, they can go back here, refresh, and there we go. And the dots are fixed. Fancy. Sebastian's saying, I think the bottom bar should be an overlay to avoid slide. Yeah, I completely agree. So right now, you can't really pin across multiple artboards, but that might be something that's in the works, but I completely agree with that. So that's sharing for review, which is really cool. A great way to get feedback if you don't want to post it on Behance just yet, but pretty good stuff. So next, what we want to do is actually share on Behance. So first thing I want to do, if I go back to, do I have it here? Oh yeah, this one here. I want to kind of replicate something like this using Adobe XD. So let me hop into XD, and right over here, I'm going to create an artboard, back in design view, and just drag one out. I'm going to make sure it's about 1400 pixels wide, which is pretty optimized for Behance. There we go, nice and large. And I'm going to throw a gradient in the background. I'm going to use an image of a gradient. If I go to Finder, got some images here of some gradients. I believe I found this either on Dribbble or Behance. And I'm just going to drag one in to XD, just like that. I can double click on it to enlarge it if I wanted to. Perfect. Now in the center, I kind of want to create an artboard that's on a little bit of an angle. So this artboard is 414 by 736. So I'm going to drag out a rectangle. This is going to be 4, 414 by 736. I don't need a border, and I do want to just rotate that just a little bit like that. And I may want a few of them. So I might want one there, and maybe one kind of hanging off my artboard. Just like that. And now I can start putting, the question is, how do I start putting some of my screens inside of these little artboards, or whatever you want to call them? So there's a great plugin called Angle. If you haven't used plugins yet, definitely hit that Discover Plugin button, and then you can search Angle. And that's the one right there. So install, oh, there's an update. I'll get to that later. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna select the first rectangle, go up to the plugins menu, go to Angle, and then apply Mockup. And this will allow me to select which screen I want to choose. I'm gonna select the splash screen. Not worried too much about the pixel density, because it is pretty much the same size as that artboard, and then apply. And it's gonna basically take that artboard and pop it in that little curved or rotated rectangle. And let me do the same thing for this one. Angle, apply Mockup. Let's say I want the, let's see, home screen. I can apply that one. Yeah, Angle's a great plugin, especially when you start working with mockups of phones and stuff like that. And I'll do one more over here. Angle, apply Mockup. Whoop, apply Mockup. And then we'll do the now playing screen. Or, yeah, now playing. One time and apply. Bam. There we go. Then I can go through, and if I want to add a little bit of a drop shadow to kind of pop it from the background. And that looks pretty snazzy. So at this point, I want to publish this on Behance. So I'm going to select this artboard, and over here to the left, I'm going to simply right click and export selected. And I can export this as header image. I'll save it as a JPEG. Probably don't need a PNG. There's not much transparency going on, or there's no transparency going on, and export it. Next thing I want to do, I want to make sure that I can embed my my artboards on Behance as well. So back under Share, if I go back to Share for Review, I can copy the embed code. It's going to automatically copy it to my clipboard. Yeah, definitely download that Angle app. It's really cool. If I go to Behance, I'm going to go to my profile over here. Oops, you all just saw my email address. And then I'm going to create a project. And here we go. So what I can do is I can just embed a prototype right from the start. Just paste it because it's already copied on my keyboard or clipboard. And then that prototype that I just published to the Creative Cloud is now available. And I can just click through it directly on Behance. It's really neat. And let me go ahead and import a media file.